Cool. So we're recording for those that are watching along on the replay as well, because I've got a whole lot of people in New Zealand and the US that unfortunately couldn't join us live that, yes, wanted to watch the replay. So I am. So Hayley said, in case she wants to listen to me talk fast again, is it going to be recorded? It is. And I'm going to hopefully upload it somewhere for everyone to be able to watch. This isn't my normal stuff and it is quite industry specific, so it probably won't go on my Facebook page, but I'm not 100% sure, but I will let you all know where I'm going to post it to. So yeah, and so it'll be good for you guys to be able to share this along with any team and things as well. That yeah, sorry, Shell. I know it's late there already, but bless you for coming on. I know it's hard to suit everyone. And I think this is too early for me personally to do training, because usually the kids are up being crazy still. So I tried to try and fit it in for everyone. Yeah, it is. It's that crazy time of the night. All right, I'm just going to share my screen with you so we can get started. Now, hopefully everyone can see that. Can everyone see that? Yeah, perfect. All right. Now I'm just going to get started. So tonight we're going to talk all about booking out your workshops. And this particular issue came about when in one of the Diamonds groups, it was brought up that they felt like collectively as a group in Australia, we were struggling to see the numbers that we once did for events. Does anyone else feel that way? Not along for those? Yeah. So you're finding it a little bit harder to get people along to events? Yeah, absolutely. And I know that my team have experienced this as well. So tonight I just wanted to, I offered to do a whole bunch of private training, and then it got too much. There were too many Diamonds asking me to feature in their team chats for the month. So I just said, how about I just do a big Australia-wide one? Everyone can share it with their teams and jump on. And that way we get way more information packed into one training event. And then we can just see where we go from here. So welcome along. Thank you so much from wherever you're tuning in from. I am so very grateful that you're here on a Sunday and you're taking time away from your families or bed to be here right now. Really, really, really happy that you have taken this opportunity to do that. So for those of you that aren't aware who I am a DoTERRA Diamond leader here in Tasmania, and I have team all across Australia. And I just wanted to, I guess, give you guys a little bit more specifics into a doTERRA business, because I am actually a business strategist and branding strategist as well. It's another business that I run. So I classify myself as an online marketing and branding expert. And so I kind of just want to use all of my knowledge, all of my training, and all of the tools that I have to really put on a training that is doTERRA specific. So I don't necessarily coach a lot about the doTERRA ins and outs. So that's what we're here today for, just to talk all doTERRA. Now I am going to alert you to the fact as well that we are going to be taking Q&A from the chat. So if you haven't found where the chat bar is yet, make sure you jump on and get into the chat bar. And I see there's some chat coming through, so I'm just going to check that out now. Yeah. Oh, no, talking about me, generosity. No, don't worry about me. I'm just here to help you guys. I heard the struggle, and I know that this is a particular subject that I personally had a lot of success in running events. And I wanted to share as many nuggets with you as I possibly could, because I want to be able to help as many of you reach those next rank goals. Like, honestly, that is what lights my fire. And that's why I love being a business strategist as well, and working out those strategy and tactics to get you where you're going. So I've got a little bit of a background of what I do and what I have done in the past. All of my experiences there. And so I have a vast background in mostly business development, sales, event planning, launching products, branding, graphic design, and I was a photographer as well in mixed media for about 9 years. So I'm a very creative person. I love doing anything arty-farty. I'm into anything a little bit kooky and spooky, anything skulls, death, witches, and all of that kind of stuff, you know, come at me. If you're in my house, you'll see lots of dead bugs. I have a taxidermied toad, and yeah, so I'm just a little bit freaky as well. That's just me. So you can see that I'm all about really creating actionable strategy and tactics for you in your business, so that you can really find actual activities to take from this. I'm not just talking about the same old boring social media strategy that we hear a million times in, that you're posting 3 times a day and to do this and do that. So we're actually going really deep down into how to create an event that's going to be successful. I'm not going to go into too much of the social media side of it tonight, but if you've got questions about that, we can look at that later. I'm just checking the chat as we go. Beautiful. And my computer's deciding to have a little tizzy and get really, really hot all of a sudden. So I'm just going to hopefully crook him up there a little bit. Not make you guys too crooked. Sorry. I'm really comfortable on the floor, and I do a lot of my workshops on the floor as well. I know that's really weird, but I love being really grounded, and that probably has something to do with my personality as well. But I love doing all my lives on the floor because I just feel so less crazy, if that makes sense. All right, so that's about me. So what we've got planned for tonight's session is to have a look at workshops that inspire action. And by that, I mean not just putting on an event that sounds great, but that will actually get people wanting to attend your events as well. How to design compelling event descriptions, because, you know, frankly, it's just a personal opinion, but I see so many events on social media from doTERRA Wellness Advocates, and I just think you guys could, but a lot of people could do it better, and they could reach people on more of an emotive level and just chuck away a lot of the normal doTERRA language. You know, we really want to reach people, and yeah, I post a lot about authentic connections and how to build relationships with people through a brand on social media. And yes, compelling event descriptions is totally part of that. I'm going to go through some of that coaching with you tonight. I'm also going to share with you the techniques that I use from my business development background to grow my events and to attract really big people into the events and pack them out constantly. I also want to teach you guys how to invite successfully. And I know, again, there is so much training out there. This is just my opinion. This comes from my point of view, how my team have had success, and what I see working really well as the industry is changing and growing. And I also want to go through some follow-up techniques as well to increase attendance. Now, does that all sound good to you guys? Yeah, beautiful. And don't forget, use the chat function as well. I can see thumbs up, and I see dudes here. Like, oh my gosh, I love seeing men in doTERRA. So hey guys, like honestly, yeah, that's awesome. Hey. Yeah, I have some crazy stories about manifesting men into my doTERRA business, and I won't go into them tonight because you're not here for that, but yeah. All right, beautiful. Cool. So I wanted to go through this firstly, just to remind you guys about the mission that we have with doTERRA. And I know you've probably all heard this a million times, and some of you will be thinking, yes, I know this. But I think that as a collective, this message seems to get lost. And as we see people jumping onto business opportunities, and the doTERRA business and the brand is promoted primarily because we have such an amazing platform to grow a residual income business, that we tend to lose sight of the ground. Like, what is the foundations of why we're actually buggering around doing all this stuff? And that's because we have a mission. And I know every single one of you who've taken time out of your Sunday to be here today have this mission as well. And it's because you're on the front line and you want to change the face of healthcare in Australia, New Zealand, America, wherever you are right now. So you have a mission. And we need to remember that our passion is to get these oils, all these products, into people's lives, not because we want to sell lots of stuff, but because we want to make the world a better place. All right. So that's, you know, and we're all going to have a different mission. It comes back to our why and what inspires us and motivates us to do this business. But really, we have a mission to do this for the greater good. And it's not just all about what we want to do and what we need to get out of it. And you'll notice I'll share some of the language that I use with my team and with my business during this chat tonight. And you'll see that, yeah, I like to talk about things a little bit differently. And it's how we can be of service to people. And so in these events, we really have to be in that mindset that we're here to serve people where they're at and get them started on this journey. Now with doTERRA, you'll hear me say this a few times as well. In any training that you've been to of mine, we are not sales consultants. All right, we don't have that description with doTERRA. It used to be the IPC, the Independent Product Consultant. Thankfully, they chucked that out because they realized our mission was so much greater than just products. And so with doTERRA, we are a wellness advocate, and our job is to be out there and to be inspiring people to make change. And that's what we do through these events as well. We don't want to talk about events as in we're getting X amount of enrollments out of every workshop or how many bums we're getting on the seats. It's really not about the numbers, but it's really about the lives that we're going to change. So I just wanted to get you guys in that headspace straight up so we can focus on it. And the problem that we're facing right now, which it could be a problem, I see it as actually a benefit for us that are out there still doing workshops and on the ground building our businesses. So a problem that we're facing at the moment is that the industry of essential oils in Australia is shifting and it's changing. And especially with doTERRA, as the brand becomes a well-known brand, there is no saturation in Australia as yet. You will hear me say that a million times while I'm working with these beautiful oils, because it is very unlikely we will ever get to a stage of saturation in Australia. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, though, is because we see a pretty general demographic. Does everyone know what the general demographic for a doTERRA wellness advocate is? Does everyone remember, or I've heard it before? It's a mum with 2.5 kids. All right. So, yeah, no, the half weird, like, is it short? Is it, but yeah, anyway. So we want to think about, okay, so that's the demographic that's really been slogged, right, in Australia. Most of us here are mums. Like, everyone, put your hand up if you're a mum. I'm a mum. I've got 2 little girls and 2 bonus kids from my hubby's first marriage. So I'm exactly the same. I'm the perfect demographic to be using doTERRA essential oils. So I'm going to teach you guys tonight is to think a little bit outside that box and not worry about the demographic that, you know, most of us are genuinely just in ourselves as well. So how can we outreach a little bit and pull other demographics into essential oils that we probably aren't very comfortable talking about just yet? So there's no saturation, so you don't need to worry about that. That's not the reason why you don't have people coming to events. It's because we just aren't talking to people where they're at and getting them to be inspired to come along to things. You're not doing anything wrong, but we can do things heaps better. So let's change this whole face of doTERRA events in Australia. Now, if you jump on to something like Eventbrite right now, or your Facebook events tab, and you look up essential oils, how many events are you going to see that are introduction to essential oils workshops? Yeah, there are many, many, many. And people aren't going to jump online and just go to an essential oil event because they've thought about it and they think, oh, wow, I'm going to learn about essential oils. It's all about that personal connection and building that with people so that you get them there. So we're going to go through a bit of that tonight as well. So, for me, with doTERRA, this is something that I think we all find along the way. Now, I don't want you guys to just go out tonight and think, right, I need to find my doTERRA passion. Straight up, it's not what it's about. Your doTERRA passion does find you, but in amongst all the things, we can highlight a few different areas that we're really passionate about when it comes to doTERRA and essential oils. So I want you guys to think a little bit into what really inspires you when it comes to doTERRA. Now, I am a weird breed of human where I actually wasn't interested in essential oils whatsoever. Most of you might know that my sister is a presidential diamond, and I was so sick of seeing essential oils in her newsfeed. It just did my head in. And I would have never, ever gone to a public event to learn about essential oils. Like, it just wasn't in me. But now look at me, and I use oils 50 different times a day. I'm so inspired by them, and the business is amazing. The products are just out of this world. So how do you get someone like me to an event? Like that's really the hard thing, is someone like me who's just like, nah, I'm not interested in essential oils. How do you get them to an event? And part of that is really finding the thing that sparks joy in you. It doesn't have to be something that you have previously been educated on. It can be just something that sparks you and you think, damn, I really, really love learning about that subject. So like I said before, I came from a background of sales and business development and graphic design and photography. So for me, when I came into doTERRA, I had absolutely no clue about the human body. I'm a pretty unhealthy human being as far as lifestyle goes, and I just had no clue. I had no previous background, no education. My sister is an amazing vessel of knowledge, and I definitely suggest all of you tap into her amazingness when it comes to the science and stuff. But it was all a learning curve for me. And once I used that oil, that first oil, I was just dumbfounded, and I just wanted to keep learning about the science and what was happening. And for me, my passion developed, I think I was about 8, 9, maybe even 12 months in. It could have even been more than that, actually, now I think about it. And it was where I found that I was really passionate about learning about the neuroscience, like how the essential oils affected our brain chemistry. And so I just started studying everything I could possibly do when it came to mental health and sleep, you know, anxiety, depression, all of those things. And it's something that really touched home for me because of personal stuff, life, people around me. And so I got really passionate about that. And that was something that was huge for me. And so we can create niches for ourselves within doTERRA, and that's something that you can definitely develop over time. And a niche just means basically you become passionate about a particular subject and you get known for being the authority in that subject. So people come to you specifically because you know an absolute buttload about that subject. And for me, that was mental health and sleep. And I still get tagged and sent messages from random people about sleep because I was like the guru of the northwest coast of Tasmania when it came to sleep. And I did a lot of sleep consultations just one-on-one as well. But that was just something that I was really passionate about. And it didn't mean that I wasn't teaching other classes, but I focused my attention on learning what really lit me up. And for some of you that might not be DIY, trust me, I'm not like a DIY queen. I've done workshops in the past for people that are interested, but it's not something I do at home. So I think that when we get to doTERRA, we see that the business plan is pretty much just to do intro workshops and then some follow-up classes. We don't really necessarily talk about what we're really passionate about and learning to grow from that as well. So pull people in where you're really passionate, because when your voice comes through, when you're on live, when you're in front of people, and you're talking about a subject that just absolutely lights you up, there's going to be a huge difference in the amount of people that really just listen to you, and you really get into that groove. So it's not necessarily ignoring everything else in doTERRA that you should educate on, but finding, you know, something that you're really, really passionate about. And there are definitely so many different amazing leaders that highlight these differences really significantly. We all know Vanessa Jean with her raw cooking. Like, that's how my sister enrolled, was with Wild Orange at a Vanessa Jean raw cooking demo. So there's so many different things that you can focus on, and she's just been amazing with growing herself from that particular passion. So I'm sure all of you guys really do have something with doTERRA that you are super passionate about. I'm just going to check my chat bar as well while we're going. Oh yeah, beautiful. One passion. Beautiful. Sorry guys, I'm going to go through and check the chat at the end as well, but definitely ask me questions through the chat bar as we go. So when it comes to the passion and talking about different subjects, I wanted to talk to you guys about events that actually inspire action. And for me, this was something that I witnessed quite quickly. There's another essential oil brand that is absolutely huge in my area. And I noticed that they were doing a lot of events that were essential oils, essential oils, essential oils. And I identified pretty quickly that I would never have gone to one of their events because it just said essential oils. It didn't connect with me in any way. And so I thought, from my, you know, my sales and marketing head, how can I get people to come to events that basically, like, I wouldn't have gone to something originally. So what I did was I started losing the word essential oil, losing words, essential oils out of all of my events. So I focused on natural solutions and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to give you some ideas as well on some of the classes that I held that brought in a lot of people. But it's not necessarily going to be just essential oils. And I saw, as soon as I did a workshop, and I could have done the exact same workshop, and we tested it, we did an introduction to essential oils, or we did a healthy home workshop, and we'd almost triple the amount of people that RSVP'd to the event for the natural home versus essential oils. So something to keep in mind, and it's not going to work everywhere, because some places people will just be really thirsty for essential oil knowledge. But some places, especially like where I am, essential oils were a bit of a turn off because it really didn't connect with people on any level. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope it does. All right, so going into different types of events, these were just some of the things that I did. And I'm going to go into some of the techniques that I use to build these particular events around. But you can see there are so many different events that I did. And of course, my core ones were sleep and moods and mental health solutions and that kind of stuff. But honestly, as a team, as an individual, I did so many different events. And one of my most popular ones with Healthy Kids, and I'm going to give you the tips on how I actually grew that workshop to be as successful as it was. We've done amazing raw cooking classes with my team. And like I said, like I'm not a very good cook, so I had team coming in and do all of the cooking. I just talked like the science and what it was doing for the body and all about the oils. So you can see there's so many different ideas that you can talk about that isn't necessarily just essential oils. And I hope that makes sense to everyone. I would love for you guys to write down like at least 5 to 10 types of events like this. You could think of so many different ones. There's honestly so many different things. I mean, even if it came to like things like acne or like manicures and pedicures and beauty stuff, like you can break that down in itself. Yeah, there's just so many different events that you could host. So think about creating a little list for yourself to think outside the box. And the reason why I say that is because, well, once we have a niched event, then we can really go into business development mode and find where these people are, which we're going to talk about tonight as well. Liz said, how do you go about structuring that sort of class? I'm not quite sure if we'll have time to go through that tonight. I will try at the end. So that's a really good question. So remind me of that question at the end when we get towards the Q&A. And yes, I will be, yeah, I'll be on to that one. I'm going to teach you guys a little bit of a breakdown of how I do those ones. Yeah, so that's just, I guess, a little bit of an insight into those ones. Once you have that niched event, you can kind of then go in and find where these people are and how you can pull them to these events. So something like a pain management workshop, it's an amazing tool for someone who has been suffering a lot of pain. Now, I also didn't just focus on essential oils in my workshops as well. I like to talk about the supplements, for example, in pain management classes, and also other techniques that I, studied, like just from old Dr. Google and stuff. So I put a lot of information in. And one thing I want to make sure you guys know is that you're a wellness advocate, so you don't have to be. Yeah, Justine, I'm not compliant, so don't even mention the word compliant. I am on social media, but when it comes to anything else, doesn't worry me, because I actually do not mention doTERRA in any of my events. I'm going to go through that tonight as well. I don't mention anything about essential oils in my events. It is just purely to get people in the room that I know need to be there. Where was I going with that? So now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry, there's another chat coming through. Yeah, it's about non-doTERRA so that people can, get to where they need to go. So, so focusing on not just the oils and stuff. Oh, yes, that's where I was going. So, I don't want you to be in that fear mode, that step back, like, whoa, I'm not a sleep therapist. I can't talk about sleep, or, I'm not qualified to talk about that. What we're doing as a wellness advocate is just sharing our personal experiences and sharing information. And those people that are in the room most likely are going to know less than you do about that subject, and you're offering them an insight into something. You aren't doing any prescribing. You aren't giving them any actual action to go home and implement. You're simply giving them a presentation on what it is like to use these things and how they work. So it's not actually, you don't need to. Do people ever feel tricked into attending an event when it is an essential oil event? Well, no. And I might go through that at the end when I talk about how I actually break down these events as well, because I don't go in there with the intention to be a doTERRA wellness advocate and sell essential oils. That's never in my mindset when I'm actually creating classes either. It's about giving people the information they need to unlock their health issues or whatever their focus is with their health or natural products at the time. So it's just a piece of information that gets lodged into the event, and people see how passionate I am about sharing essential oils and how that works. These events are basically the way I book one-on-ones and the way I book other workshops from these events. Of course, I enroll people in these events all the time, but it's really just to get them in the door so that they're thinking about essential oils. And when you get to the end and you're talking about it one-on-one with them, they're really, really interested, because you've actually given them a buttload of information that's fantastic. They can use it. It's practical. And you're also giving them another tool that they can go home and think about, which is essential oils. Yeah, perfect, Rachel. Awesome. All right, I'm going to keep going. So I think about another thing as well is to think about how you can add value to your sessions. So I know I personally didn't really charge for events unless it was like a DIY class. And we did charge for our raw cooking class sometimes because, yeah, it costs a lot to get like raw cooking, fresh produce and stuff. So we did usually charge for that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Jamie, for me, I actually don't worry about the top 10 kits or oils. I'm just this weird, like, doTERRA person who I don't go by the rules. I don't like to use the word rebel, but I guess you might have to, Vicky, because I actually don't think that that's what people want. It gets into party plan. I don't feel comfortable using a presentation that it comes from a worksheet. Personally, I just don't like talking about that stuff. When I get to one-on-one and I can see what their budget is and I know that the oils in those kits are going to benefit them and it's going to give them a high discount, of course I'm going to bring that up. But I'm going to qualify people first. I'm not just going to stand in front of a room of people and say, hey, you need this kit. I'm going to talk all about this kit tonight. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But yeah, I do things yeah, differently when it comes to events. And I think this is like one of the things is we don't get taught how to do things differently and how to do things in the way that flows with us, you know, what's aligned with us. And this is just, you know, tonight is just all about how I do this business. So I hope you guys can get some information out of it. All right, so, oh, wait too far. So think about how you can add value to your sessions. So as well as having the amazing information that you're going to have this amazing workshop, also having a little bit of an incentive for people to turn up is always a winner. So whether that is that you get to take home a 20-page leaflet on this, or you're putting on supper, you might be doing a sample pack for people to go home with. And every single person that comes to my workshops that doesn't enroll goes home with a sample pack, regardless of whether I've advertised it or not. It's just something I like to do because I want them to have that for me to follow up on. Adding value in your sessions can be so vastly different. And, you know, I did one workshop that was specific to essential oils and it was really quite popular. And that was my introduction to aromatherapy. And it was more a niche subject. So I did target a very different demographic for that one. But I also offered people a certificate of attendance, so that when they went home on that day, it said that they'd been to this session and it outlined everything that we talk about, from harvesting, testing, all of the blending options, the notes, like I went through all the chemistry and all that sort of stuff. So that was a very, very intensive workshop that I would do. And I gave them a certificate to go home with, and that was a really good incentive to get people there because they'd be interested in essential oils, and then they could learn and take something home that was like, you know, yay, I did something, I learned, and it was great. So that's, you know, one of the other things. But food is fantastic. Like, who doesn't love food? I love going to kids' birthday parties because there's food. And I'm the same with any essential oil workshops. And I always tease my team, like, are you feeding me while I'm there? You know, Gemma in my team, she makes these amazing raw caramel things. And like, oh, I would go to any workshop and listen to her speak for 4 hours if I got to eat those. So food is definitely a winner, especially if you can infuse the oils into it. Yeah. I'm just reading everyone's comments as well. So tailoring their experience to the workshop feels more natural rather than going straight into any of the kits. That's it. That's how you get people really interested in changing their lives, is to talk about them, find out what they need, rather than just getting up there and talking about what you feel like you need to talk about and cover in the night. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Perfect. I'm loving it, guys. I'm loving the feedback from tonight as well. You might think that I'm kind of opinionated because I am. This is my opinion. And it can come across as quite blunt, but honestly, it's just, I'm speaking from experience, and this is something I'm very, very passionate about. And I want every single one of you to at least go home and get 10 new homes with these oils in them this month from what I'm teaching you guys, because it can make a huge difference. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about tonight was giving enough notice. So for me personally, I have researched events nonstop. I have been in event planning, I've done launches, I've done heaps of different events, and then I've come to doTERRA and I've done hundreds of different events. And so giving enough notice is really important. You've probably found yourself that when you've planned an event and you've only got maybe 4 to 7 days notice, that's really hard for people to get there. Because they might have work, they might have to get a babysitter, they might have to do other things, they might have other appointments. And anything longer than 2 weeks for most events is just too much notice. Here in Tasmania, people are different, we're a bit weird, and we don't like RSVPing to events until the very last minute. But if you give someone an event more than 2 weeks out, they tend to forget about it unless it's very, very in their face. So what I coach my team with is that, okay, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks is your buffer. That's a really good time frame to give notice for any type of event. You can then, when you've got that 2.5 weeks planned, you can then structure all of your touch points through those 2.5 weeks so that you get people through the door. Roseanne's asked if info sheets and handouts are value adding. Yes, absolutely. So I had a Healthy Kids workshop handout that I had. I'd also have food and samples for them to take home on the night as well. So when I did my baby, like my natural mama class, I would actually have little pre-made kits with like the natural baby powder, baby wipes, and yeah, nappy cream already made up. We'd make some on the night as well. It can get a bit messy. So I had nice little packs for them to take home as well. So yeah, value adding can look so different in all different things. Do I use Empower Kit handout in your classes? Jamie, don't growl at me, but no, I don't. I have changed all of my, basically all of my handouts. So I don't really use the doTERRA ones. Don't growl at me. It's the rebel in me coming out. But I also find that I much prefer to coach my team to not speak about the handouts. Now, this again is very opinionated, but what I see is when I was coaching my team when they're first coming into the oils, they're so excited, they're passionate, they've had that essential oil miracle, they want to share it with their friends and family, they're getting into that sharing mode, and then you give them the Empower Kit and you say, here, have a workshop, and you have to talk about all these things. It's really overwhelming, and they just kind of go, ugh. And then they stand up in front of their friends and family and they try and cover off every dot point, and they just really focus on making sure they're covering all of that information. And I'd really honestly much rather nurture my new sharers into just sharing what feels comfortable and what feels really good to them. So I generally say to them, start by introducing yourself, telling them what miracle you've had with essential oils and why it's changed your life, go into how you use them, and then what a membership is. And that's all you need to talk about when you're in an intro class. And just taking away those handouts really changes people's confidence when they stand up in a class and talk to their friends and family. So it's just a personal opinion, but yes, definitely I take away the handouts for anyone new that's sharing, and I find that it just flows and it definitely comes from the heart, and it's much better. So what I was saying was planning out your events. So you got those 2 weeks, you can sort of plan out some different content, especially if you're posting on social media. You can plan out where you're going to drop posters, who you're going to speak to, all that kind of stuff. So give enough notice and give yourself enough notice so that you can actually really get involved in this event. Now, when you're doing an event and you want it to be successful, it needs to actually have attention. So you don't just book an event on Facebook in 2 weeks' time and then get to the night before and think, no one's RSVP'd, I don't have anyone coming. You want to be actively working to build those attendees every single day during those 2 weeks leading up to it. Really important to make sure that you're getting those people there that need to be there. And my other tip as well for planning events is plan events at a time that works for the audience, not what works for you. So you may have been given like a day from your family that says like, oh, that's your essential oil day. And that day won't necessarily work for everyone. And even events of an evening are really hard for mums to come to. So if you're talking to mums or doing a natural mama class, like an evening class is probably not going to be that great. But if you're working full time and you want to talk to those mums or the stay-at-home mums, how do you actually get a good sort of, difference between the two? Well, just ask questions. If you've got people that you already know in these demographics, ask them, when's the best time to get you to a workshop? If they have to bring their kids, fantastic. Let's do that. Let's bring lots of stuff that'll entertain them as well, so you can keep focused. Even if you take your own kids to go, like older kids to play with younger kids while you're doing workshops, it's a brilliant idea. It's definitely great. Give them some cash, say, here, go babysit for a few hours. But just really ask yourself, when is your audience going to be available? Get into their mind. So if you're doing a sports performance workshop, something that we've done in football clubs, in golf, we've done them, where else have we done? Basketball. There's so many different places that you can get into this stuff. But you wouldn't necessarily my computer just went weird. So you wouldn't necessarily do a sports performance event on a Saturday morning because you know everyone's out playing sports, right? So it's really working out when your audience are going to be around and when they can, really get on to your events. This is something I'm super passionate about as well, and that's creating compelling advertisements. Now, you might have noticed for the event, for this particular event, I went all out. Like, I really wanted you to feel the event and get a little taster into what it means to create a really good event description. Whether this is on a poster or on social media, wherever you're sending it out, personal invitations, flyers, let's think about how you actually target the people that need to get there. So I write this out. So even if I'm doing like business coaching stuff that's totally non-doTERRA specific, I still write out this little graph for every single thing that I do because it means so much and it gives me so much focus for my marketing and advertising and really talking to people who need to get there. So I've put a little sample in there, if you will. So it's a really good idea to create these columns. So you've got the problem, you've got the solution, you've got the transformation, and you've got the tools. This is a really good thing to write out for yourself whenever you're thinking about planning a event for essential oils. So you think about a problem. What do people have a problem with when it comes to the oils? Like what can we offer? So this is just something I thought of in a quick minute. So example, children waking during the night. The solution for that is, okay, so using natural methods to help the little ones settle and sleep through. Then you've got the transformation. Sorry, I'm just opening up the chat again. Carrie's just asked, do you have a schedule somewhere for what you could do each day for 2.5 weeks to find your attendees? Yes, so I'm going to go through some of the business development stuff. I'm not going to go through the social media stuff because it's a real passion point for me and I can take you for another 2 hours on social media with events, which we won't do tonight, but I'm definitely keen to keep teaching you guys. But yeah, so yes, we'll definitely go through some stuff on how to actually build those attendees. And this is part of that, is writing these compelling advertisements as well. So the solution to their problem is a natural method, right? We know that's what's going to work. Then you want to highlight what the transformation is. So what is the actual success from using the product that you're going to be helping them with? They're going to feel refreshed. They're going to be less stressed at bedtime. Their children and themselves are going to be in a better mood, so you kind of sell it. And then you go into the tools. So what is it that you're actually going to present to them or give them that's going to help them find that transformation? And that's the Natural Sleep Solutions Workshop in a handout. So does that make sense to everyone? I hope it does. But honestly, breaking every workshop that I put in one of those last slides down into this, it really gives you a clear idea, because I'm sure most of my team, when I get to teaching them about this, they haven't even thought of what that transformation is for someone. And I was talking to another team, another Blue Diamond team the other day, and I ran through this with them in a private session. And one of the ladies stuck their hand up and they go, I want to go to this event. And it was just me talking about like a natural medicine cabinet makeover sort of workshop. Like, we're not talking about you need lavender in your home because it's really good for this and it's good for that. And you want tea tree in your home because it's also great for this and that. That doesn't mean much to someone, but it's the transformation that makes the difference to someone. And it's actually been studied, and we make decisions when purchasing or attending events like this with our limbic system, which is our emotions and our memory. We don't actually use the logical and tactical side of our brain to make decisions when it comes to purchasing and attending events. So this is why the transformation is the most important part when you're talking about your events. So if you're talking about the pain management workshop, for example, you want to be talking about the freedom of mobility, being able to get down on the floor and playing with your kids for the first time in years because you haven't had to worry about the pain when you're down on the floor and having to stand up again. You know, rolling around in bed, the freedom of life. You're able to be out and be with your friends and do physical activity like you've never done before. You know, just being able to be self-reliant and be able to open jars or to open and close things in your own home. That's the transformation. They don't give a crap about the oils that you're going to be presenting them with or the information. They want the transformation. And that's really where we need to focus on when we're creating these events. So really try and focus on this, guys. I'm just checking the chat again as we go. What computer programs do you make? Yep, cool. I'll answer that at the end. Is it possible to access a recording of this seminar? So this is the first half. Yes, Diana, we have. I'm recording right now. So there will be a recording as well, and you will be able to probably slow it down as well so that you can catch up with me if I'm talking too quickly. Please tell me if I am talking too quickly, because I know that I do and I don't mean to. Probably need more Clarisage on. So that's the transformation. That is the most important part. I'm going to show you a little way that you can actually structure those events descriptions so that you can manage this. But I really want you to think about the transformation. So think about the mum, like if you're talking about the natural medicine cabinet, which is where I was going before, beep, 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 squirrel brain. Think about what it actually means for a mum to have these oils in her home. So that at 3 o'clock in the morning when their kid is screaming with an earache or throwing up, they don't have to be stressed about trying to find, like scrambling the medicine cabinet and find something, and if Panadol doesn't work, waiting and then having to give something else, or waiting and waiting around. There are so many different things, like worrying about your children in the middle of the night. If you're doing this with them, how you're going to keep up with them. So with a natural medicine cabinet, like with the oils at home, you have got the ability to take care of your little ones in the middle of the night when something pops up. If you're worried about all of the non-compliant stuff as well, like fevers and all of that, think about how you can weave all of the freedom that gives the mum, not the oils, because they don't care about the oils in their kit. They care about that transformation. I'm going to keep prattling on about it because I'm passionate about it. Yeah, absolutely, Charmaine. Like for me as a mum, knowing like my little girl Elliot, she was 7 months old when I first got the oils, and she woke up vomiting. We used the oils on her, and within about 30 seconds, her temperature had dropped. She had stopped throwing up, and within minutes, she was fast asleep. And I know that I would have been up for hours with her because she had an upset belly. She had a high temperature. Like that for me was amazing. And that's the gift we need to give other people, is that transformation. Like we spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on looking after our little girls with the wax in their ears and ear infections and all that kind of stuff. Like then harnessing the oils, that gives us freedom. It helps with our budget. I was self-employed. It meant that I didn't have to take sick days. My clients weren't put off. I didn't have to have my kids home from school sick constantly because their immune systems were fantastic. Those are transformations that we have with all of the different products. So how to actually break that down, so you can screenshot this if you want, or wait for the recording to grab this. But this is really how you would write an event description or a description on a poster or a flyer. So you want to highlight who they are. So say like, I know who you are. This is like, you're a blah, blah, blah. You're a mum, you've got kids. You're an elderly person struggling with this. Yeah, essential oils all the way. Woo! Yeah. Vic. Thanks, babe. I know you. Yeah, awesome. So highlight who they are. So when you've gone through the transformation process and all that, you know exactly who you need to talk to when it comes to that particular event. And that's where it's okay to actually define this quite significantly, because you can do a pain management workshop for like younger people that have pain issues, and then you can do one for the elderly. So you can really target down the advertising materials for these events by working out who exactly you're talking to. Then you're talking about what their problem is. So, for me, when I wrote this event description, I said, doTERRA Wellness Advocates, hey, you've been struggling with this. You've been struggling to get people to these events. And then the next paragraph, I tease you with like, what would it feel like if you could enroll X amount of people per month and you could get these people to your events? And so you're saying to them, like, what would it feel like? It brings up that emotion, that memory. They have that feeling of, I remember what it was like when I wasn't in pain. I remember what it was like when I didn't have to wake up 50 times during the night with these annoying kids. Like, you bring back that memory. What would it feel like if you didn't have to go through this all the time? What would it feel like if you finally empowered yourself with the decisions to take care of your own health? Like, these are the kind of things. We want to empower people. We want to make them remember what it's like to not have to be with this. And if they have been struggling with something their whole life, I bet you they've been dreaming about a day where they're not in pain, or they're not struggling with their immune system, or they're, not struggling with this or that, whatever it is that you're offering them in a workshop. So, and then you want to, exactly, what are you offering? I'm offering you a session when we're going to cover this, 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 and this. And then this is how you join me. This is how you RSVP. That's all. Call to action at the end. That's it. You don't need to worry too much about going into your history, your education, your background, because people are going to look you up if they're keen. If they're that type of consumer, they're going to research you anyway. And so make sure you have some good bios on your Facebook or website, whatever you've got for people to check you up on. LinkedIn, definitely recommend that as well as a wellness advocate. So don't worry about highlighting the fact of who you are and what this is about, because this event ain't nothing about you. This is all about them and what they're getting out of it. And I also want you guys to think about when you're doing events that aren't targeted towards other doTERRA wellness advocates, don't even mention your rank. Like, honestly, like if someone's never heard of doTERRA before and have no idea what doTERRA essential oils are, and you say, presented by doTERRA Diamond, Stacey Walker, it doesn't mean anything to them. It also makes them think, ding, 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 is this party plan? Am I going to be sold something? So you don't even need to advertise what rank people are or what experience you've had. It's just all about them, how you can serve them, what transformation they're going to be getting, and how you can help them and how they can join. Call to action, book here through this link, or call me here, text me, or just turn up on the day if that's how you want to roll your classes. Beautiful. Yeah, so Dan, we did cover that in the beginning a little bit on what classes we do. I'm going to go through a little bit of a structure at the end of how I did those classes. Sharon, my classes, even though I'm the queen of talking, I would literally not talk for any more than 30 minutes. My workshops would go for about 2 hours in total, but I would talk for 30 minutes. So, you know, studies show that we absorb about 5 minutes out of every 40 minutes of information that's prattled off to us. But I also want to say to you, I break my workshops up so they're conversational. I never talk at people. I personally, like I said before at the beginning, I sit on the floor around people. We either sit around a table, we sit, like in my old studio, I would sit around in a circle with chairs with some stuff in the middle of the room. I don't like being up and being a dictator and talking to people in front of them. I'd much rather be with them, creating conversation. So as I'm presenting, I'm asking, is that something that you've struggled with before? Have you known someone who's dealt with that? Like, I'm asking all these questions so I can really connect with people and they feel like they're part of the presentation, and I make it about them. It's not just about me standing up there and talking at them. It's really just, if I'm on the floor, I'm happy, of course, but if I'm sitting around in a circle, fine. If we're in a lounge room, everyone's on couches and I'm on the floor, I'm good. So I just definitely recommend trying a few different things that help you and flow with conversation. When you've got like rows and stuff of people, it feels very much like a sales presentation. People kind of feel disconnected because they've got this person in front of them, for example, and then that gives them opportunity to think about all these objections. They're not really connecting with the information. They just feel like they're being spoken to, not with. And yeah, so definitely make people comfortable with you as well. Yeah, and I love teaching people sales training and sales techniques. Like, this is one of my huge things, and I would love to change network marketing and how we do this. And this is why I'm doing this tonight, to teach you guys how to do it a little bit differently. All right. So some of you have heard me talk about this before. If you've ever done one of my business masterminds, which I absolutely love doing, I've spoken about this many, many times, and I will still continue to use this analogy. So when we're talking about doTERRA products, even when we're creating content for social media, we need to be focused on the destination. You see this? We don't worry about the vessel. And this is exactly the same with our events as well. So here I have this beautiful example of Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaiian Airlines, in their marketing material, don't advertise this. They don't worry about advertising the plane. They don't worry about telling you about the fuel economy, what type of engines it's got in it, how they dispose of your waste, because you don't care how you get there. You've booked that plane because you want to go to Hawaii, right? And so Hawaiian Airlines will use these types of pictures in their advertising. This is the transformation. This is the destination. So they're selling you on having a massage on the beach with the palm trees whistling in the wind. They're going to show you the beaches and the crystal clear water. They're going to show you the cocktails with little umbrellas and pineapples in them. They're going to show you the luau's and having the lays and all of that kind of stuff. And hey, to anyone who was Blue Diamond above that went to Hawaii, I was sick of seeing your pictures because I was so bloody jealous by the end of it. But this is a perfect example. So when Hawaiian Airlines marketing and advertising department plan out their marketing and advertising promotions, They don't worry about promoting the vessel, they worry about promoting the destination. And that is exactly the same as with doTERRA essential oils. So whether you're creating events or content, think about this constantly. Think about Hawaiian Airlines. Even put a little picture of that plane up somewhere on your desk so you can remember it's not about the vessel at all, because people don't care how they get there, they just want to get there. So, and this comes the same thing. So as I was saying before, we're talking about the transformation. So Ice Blue, for example, that's one that's rocked my world. So I talk about heaps because I had arthritic issues in my poor old body. I'm like a 90-year-old woman body stuck in here. So Ice Blue, for example, I see so many posts on social media that talk about what oils are in the blend, how it's great for stiff joints, aching, inflammatory issues, inflammation, pain, blah, 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 blah. So that when we're talking about that in that content, we're really giving them the vessel. We're saying this is the oil that you need, but we're not actually advertising the destination, which is less inflammation. It's being pain-free, it's being in control of our health, it's not filling our bodies with all those yucky chemicals that clog our liver and our kidneys, like all those anti-inflammatories do. So we really need to shift our perception of this and really start harnessing this type of analogy when we're creating content for social media or we're creating events for people, because we really want you to focus on that destination, not the vessel. Oh, Jacinta, beautiful. I know, yeah. Oh, that's Jacinta's part of my Biz Academy at the moment. So you get lots and lots of sales training later in the weeks as well. So, so that's cool. So I guess everyone sort of understands the difference. And I would really, really love it if you could, in your own time, focus on the oils and the products. And I've actually made my clients, because I work with a lot of people outside of my team. I do business coaching and strategy with lots of doTERRA people, any ranks and stuff. So yeah, I've got a few diamonds, I've got platinums, I've got golds that want to invest in their business. So yes, so invest a little bit of time. I make my clients do this as well with doTERRA. Write out or grab a price list and actually write out the transformation that every single product gives you. What's the destination of using every product? So people don't give a crap about the oils or like really what are in the blends and how high quality those essential oils are. They don't, because it doesn't mean anything to them. They're making decisions with their limbic system, their memory and their emotions. They don't care about the logic of how much it costs, where it was harvested and the science behind it, because that comes later. But yeah, straight up, you want to talk about that destination. So write down for every product that you can think of what that transformation is for people, and then you can start crafting your message around that as well. All right, just going to close that chat bar now. So business development techniques. And so I've been in business development. My first real intro into health, I was the business development manager for Red Cross in first aid for Tasmania. And at that stage, I got really passionate about saving lives, and I wanted to go to university to become a paramedic. That didn't happen because of my brain and how I study. And I don't do well in a classroom. So I didn't end up going through with that. And I stayed in sales and I promoted life-saving devices all across Tassie. And so for me, when it came to doTERRA, I honestly did listen to all of the doTERRA pipes, and I did everything that I was told. And I just didn't feel like it was my jam. It didn't really work for me. And so I just started pulling in some other stuff from my business development background. And that's why I love coaching my team and my clients through, is just learning how to do things a little bit different. When I came into it, and I just didn't want to talk to my friends and family. Like, I love them. Like, it wasn't like, I don't want to talk to those people. But it was more so that I just didn't want to be like a pestery kind of person, and I wanted to grow a network that was new. Like, I just wanted to talk to new people about these. And I knew that with my passion, they would come. And now I work with all of my family. I do honestly work with loads of family. And my friends, most of my friends have oils. They do. And I have never once approached them and said, hey, would you do a workshop for me? Or would you be interested in oils? It was just using my techniques to share how passionate I was about it. And they've come to me over time. So when I was planning into, okay, so like, I don't feel comfortable just going and asking friends and family for workshops or doing text lists and all that kind of stuff, because it felt really yucky for me, for someone who was so focused on building connections. I wanted to build relationships and I wanted to go out. So I'm going to share with you some of these techniques that I use to build my events right now. There is a whole range of other things that I would love to coach you on tonight when it comes to building your doTERRA business, but we don't have time. I'm conscious that I've already been talking for an hour. Oh my gosh, and you guys aren't clicking me along and telling me to shut up. Okay, this is great. So the first one that I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight was event collaborations. And this technique just works brilliantly. And even if you don't do it well, it still works because you still get new people into your network. And what I mean by event collaborations is finding really good influencers that are within the niche of the event to come and collaborate with you. Whether that is just other people in network marketing, like Norwex or Thermomix or something like that, to do like a wellness day. A couple of years ago, I think it was October 2016, I did some women's wellness days here in Tasmania, one up north, one in Hobart. They were massive days. We had over 200 people register for each event, I think it was. And we, sorry, I have a sip of water from my Ravenclaw cup. Oh. Who else is addicted to Harry Potter? I am. So I did these women's wellness days and it was fantastic. We gave them like a little pack with a bottle of water, which we just had from somewhere local. I also went to some coffee shops and introduced myself and used it as a good like networking technique as well. And I got coffee vouchers for all the little gift bags and little discounts from local hairdressers and all that sort of stuff. So this event was fantastic. Carrie's daughter's Ravenclaw. Good. My hubby's Gryffindor. I talk about it all the time because I love Harry Potter. But yes, so event collaboration. So with these particular wellness days, I not only collaborated with local businesses to do these gift bags for the event, but I also had guest speakers in. I had a Pilates instructor, a personal trainer. I had my sister come down as well because she's amazing when she talks about emotions in the body and how we actually store physical emotions. It's crazy. I spoke as well. And we had another one. They were very, very appreciated, but they're just not coming to my mind right now. It was years ago now. So we had a few different speakers and it was just an amazing event. So they would share it with their network and bring people in, and I shared it with my network and brought new business for them as well, because we had people that booked them for PT or went to their Pilates classes. So you can see how that really works when you're collaborating with people, whether they are in network marketing or they're outside, or you're just collaborating to give like little freebies or discounts in local businesses around you. It's fantastic. And it's just nice to go around your local area and introduce yourself to the people in the shops. Like to say, hi, I'm Stacey from blah, 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 and I'm doing an event and I just wanted to like introduce myself and see if that was something that you were interested in, or if you know anyone who's struggling with whatever the topic of the discussion was. So if you are an extrovert, get out there and do that. If you're an introvert, it's okay. You don't need to go out there and talk to people. You can do doTERRA and be a doTERRA diamond as an introvert. You do not need to listen to my advice when it comes to this. I would definitely love for you to coach yourself into being a little bit more extroverted to build your business, but you don't have to be, and you don't have to do it that way. So event collaborations are awesome. Organization invitations. So I didn't really know what to title this properly when I was putting this together, and I don't know if that makes much sense without me talking, so I'm going to talk you through that. So when I was creating events, like say a sports event, I would then craft an invitation that was personalized to every sports club imaginable around my area. When I did my natural mama workshops, I went to all of the like daycare centers. I went to like mothers clubs, like baby groups and all of that sort of stuff. I put up posters and I invited them along. So think about different organizations that would really be interested, like where your people are hanging out, like big organizations. Sports clubs are an amazing resource. I also, when I was doing my mental health, I actually did target some government organizations, and I ended up working alongside with Anglicare for a few different workshops as well. So just sending out invitations but personalizing them is absolutely amazing to the bigger organizations. Schools are another great one as well. So if you're sending like an event off to a school, get it in their newsletter. You know, there's so many different opportunities depending on what it is. Even like if it's stress management in the workplace, like hairdressers, fantastic, because I hope I have hairdressers here who are doing doTERRA, because you guys are most amazing therapists. You hear everyone's problems, you know everything, and you are the biggest, best word of mouth ever. So if you get hairdressers into essential oils, you are made. Like, hairdressers are an amazing resource to become besties with. Sharon asked if I held those workshops in my home or do I run out of space. So I actually had my photography studio, which was downtown in where I live. So I actually converted that into a little bit of a wellness center when my passion shifted from photos to oils. But we also have rented so many different spaces across Tassie. We have rented them through the council. We've rented private spaces. And that's something as a diamond I love doing for my team, is when we do these big events as well, these team events, and we have stalls with like jewelry and people's DIY made stuff and bottles and all sorts of goodies. So renting out space can be really good, but don't worry too much about getting the biggest and most flashiest venue as well. As long as you can talk to people and it's warm and quiet, that's all you really need. You don't have to worry about like the venue as such. Just make sure it's easy accessible. So if you're doing a pain management workshop and you do it up 3 flights of stairs, probably not a good idea. And make sure parking's really easy if you're doing something for mum, so they can get their strollers up and around as well. Do I offer anything in exchange? Just the opportunity for their community to attend? No, I just invite them in because I really just want them to get the word out there that this event is on and that it'd be amazing for the people that are involved with their organisation. It's really just about adding the value in with the event itself. Shona, sorry, yeah, it's 9 o'clock here now in Tassie. All right, so the next thing I did was I also didn't just do public events where I invited people to come along. I actually would write event proposals for these different clubs and places and fitness centres, gyms, health food stores, podiatrists, chiropractors. We've done workshops everywhere, and we did this by creating event proposals. And so we would actually write to these businesses and say, this is what we do, this is what we offer. We would love to be able to come in and talk to their clientele, offer them this and for this. As an organisation, if they are interested, we could make it a benefit to them as well. So we got a few health food stores signed on and stuff through doing those. No, Deanna, our large public events like the Women's Wellness Day that I did, I rented a fairly flashy space because we had a lot of people and I really wanted the good AV. So I didn't charge for that. That was a free day. Charging for events is something that is so personal. It works in some areas because it adds more value for just having a price on it. But I just saw it as a gift to my team and to the people I was inviting, that once I was quite, compensated for my time with doTERRA, I was happy to put that in and not charge for that as well. Rach, yes, it's being recorded. So yeah, definitely being recorded. Yeah, absolutely. If they pay beforehand, you can get more of a commitment out of people. But I also I just haven't really focused on the money because I focus on that connection. So if I have to get them there because they've paid and they come out of obligation because they've paid something, I don't really want them there. I want to be able to create connections with people in conversations before they even get to the door so that I know what they're coming for and I can really service them when they get there. Lorraine, when I have charged for workshops, we just basically broke down all the materials, like for our DIY workshops, broke down bottles and oils, drops and all that sort of stuff, and then we just charged what it cost us. We didn't make any extra on top of it. None of that. Cool. So I do have a template somewhere for event proposals as well. It's definitely something I would recommend if you haven't done already, is to go into a business local to you and just tell them that you're really passionate about talking about this and you would love to do some events within their organisation to their clients. I have even done animal workshops at a dog groomers. I did a pets workshop in a dog groomers. I was actually approached and asked to do that, but that was a really cool thing. It was something that added value to their clients. So it was like, we care about you, so we're putting this event on, if that makes sense. So it's definitely valuable. venues cost effective. In Tassie, everything's cheap. There's nothing really that expensive here. So it really depends. Councils are usually your best bet to get started and have a chat. And also your local sports clubs, like your rowing clubs, your footy clubs, they are pretty good when it comes to hiring out their meeting rooms and stuff. So yeah, it's just about making a few calls and finding out. Now, of course, I'm just going to check my messages because I have questions coming through. Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. I've got questions coming through on my messenger as well. So you can use the chat here in Zoom, or you can, yeah, do that through there. So how to invite person to person. That's what the P2P means in my lingo. So how to invite people personally. And I still want you to think, even when you're doing these larger scale public events, is to really think about the people that are coming and how you can be of service to them. So some of my hot tips for when you're inviting person to person. My first thing is do not rely on Facebook invitations. So don't just create an event in Facebook and invite people along and hope that is enough of incentive for people to get there. Even if you've written an amazing description using my template, they still probably won't really make the commitment to come unless you connect it to them in some way. So make it personal. And think about all the people when you're creating an event. So if you're doing a natural mum, I think of all the mums that you've got in your friend circle or people that you know. What problems does this solve for them using that transformation? And ask them questions. Like, just don't get up straight up and go, hey, I thought you would be really interested in this event that I'm putting on. Get in contact with them to say, hey, g'day, babe. How's everything going with your baby? And how's he sleeping? And blah, blah, blah. Try and ask a few questions first to open the opportunity to talk about your event. Because again, it's not about you, it's about them. How can you help them? So ask those questions. If you know that you're doing a business opportunity event, because we know these work as well, so it doesn't have to be just about the purchasing opportunity, be about the business opportunity. Just touching base with people and say, how are you going with your job? Did you get that promotion that you were after? You know, like I know you were thinking about selling a house and upgrading. How's that going? Start that conversation about finances before you drop a business opportunity, because you planted a seed, because they're thinking, they're using the Olympic system to get a motive, and they're thinking, no, I can't afford to sell this crappy 3-bedroom house, so we need 4 bedrooms. And so starting to bring their emotions into it. When you're inviting people that you know as well, always suggest to bring a friend, because people tend, and females, you know what I'm talking about, we flock. Like, we go in groups. Wherever we go in groups. We feel way more comfortable with our social anxieties if we're going somewhere where we have a friend that'll sit by us. So always allow them the opportunity to bring a friend with them. And I know that sounds like a real sales technique, but again, attach it to them. I know it might feel weird. You haven't been to this venue before, and I'm going to be up the front talking. I'll be really busy. So if you want to bring, you know, if you know someone by name, bring blah, 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 they would really benefit from this information as well. And that way you've got someone to come with, you can carpool, whatever, and make it easier for them. It's not about them bringing more people so you can sell to more people. You don't want to make it sound like that at all. Also add the value. So of course, using that transformation as a value, but then saying about the food that you've created, or handouts or sample packs and whatever you've got going on. And paper invitations are still magical. I love getting paper invitations. And if any of my friends are watching, oh, I'm totally guilty. I lose invitations like a mad woman. Like every wedding that I get invited to 3 days out, I say, can someone send me a photo of the invitation, because I can't find it. But I love getting them. I just get so excited when I see a little invitation in the mailbox or under my door. And paper invitations. If you're doing printed invitations, drop some oil on it so that when they stick it to their fridge, or they've got it somewhere where they're walking past and they're like constantly getting it, oh my gosh, that citrus bliss, it just smells amazing. Or, you know, on those little cards where you cut the little circle out and you can put a little sample. I prefer the little perfume vials, the little skinny long ones with the little clip. And so I clip them onto business cards and invitations as well, and say to them like, this is like a little hint of what we're getting up to and how to use it before we get to the event. So yes, that's sort of the top tips on personal invitations. But again, making it about them, not about us, because they won't come if we're trying to plead them to come for our own benefit. All right, so follow-up formula. So you've got people, they've said they're interested. How do you actually get them there? I'm not going to talk about follow-ups after sales stuff, but I'm going to talk about specifically for events tonight. So when you are giving someone the opportunity to check your event out, ask them when they're going to have an opportunity to have a look at it. So if you're having a chat with your friend, you say, I've got this event coming up. I'd love for you to have a look at it. You know, there's been some information there, you know, when do you have time to have a look through it? And they could say, oh, I'll look through it right now. Or say, oh, I'm going to put the kids to bed and then I'll have a look through it. So just qualify them by asking them the questions. Jules, I just get those from eBay, the sample file ones. They're like $1 for 10 or something like that, I think, from memory. They're not very expensive at all, from China. And they're amazing because they post so much easier too, because they're not big and fat. You just put them in a little envelope. So they're really, really heaps easier. So ask them when they're going to have a chance to look at the event. And then you can follow up after that. So if they've said to you, oh, I'm not going to have a chance to have a look at it until the kids go to bed, then you know that like 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can send them a message and say, oh, hey, I just wanted to go through this with you and just like go through it if you've got any questions, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really good way of making conversation about it. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat again. And then usually I check in with them 4 days before as well. So I give them like 4 days notice and I tell them how excited I am and how, oh my gosh, I know how much you've been struggling with getting baby to sleep. And I know that all this information is just going to be so useful to you. I cannot wait for you to get there. Again, making it about them. And then either the night before or the morning of, if it's of an evening, always the morning of. If it's the morning event, then the night before, just to sort of touch base with them as well. And you can make little spreadsheets for yourself as well, with little columns of who you've invited and like 4 days before, night before, just so you can check up and see. Yeah. Hang on, I'm going to clear all drawing. Sorry, someone had drawn on my little screen there. That's okay. And yeah, so that's sort of the best ways to follow up. Now, if you have got a public event on a Facebook page and you've got people that have clicked interested that you don't know, start a conversation. Just ask them straight up, oh, hey, I am the blah, 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 presenting this workshop and you clicked interested and I would love to know what your main focus is when you come to this event. And they're either going to tell you, oh, well, my son's been struggling with this, or my daughter's struggling with this, or I really struggle with my hormones and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to open up to you, or they're not going to see it and they won't answer you. But just send the message anyway. Even if someone likes or comments on your posts on social media, always start a conversation. Start a conversation with every single person you possibly can. Worst case scenario is you won't hear back from them. Or they'll say, no, I didn't mean to click on it, sorry. Like, it's not about you. It's like they're just genuinely not interested, so don't waste your time. But always making sure you're starting that conversation. Find out what it is that's getting them to the event if you don't know them. And then when you're following up, use this technique and you can touch base with them 4 days before saying, oh, hey, Vicky, you know, we were talking about this and I know you're really, really struggling with this issue at the moment. You know, just reminding you, I've got this event on this day, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be huge. And transformation, go through all of that, you know, get them really excited and build that excitement to get there. So how? Highlight the transformation that they need, build the hype. Tell them that you've prepared like food or handouts. You've got someone coming that's an amazing speaker, whatever that looks like. Yes, Yana, I private message people just from my personal page if they've commented or clicked that they're interested on my events. So yes, but make it personal and tell them, like if it's a friend or if someone you've just started a conversation with even, say, I just honestly cannot wait to be around your energy. Like I've missed you, haven't seen you in so long. Not only is it great that we get to talk about this stuff that's going to help you, but I just miss you. Like you can just be as personal as you want to. And just, really make it, again, about them and getting them there and having them around. Make them feel important is the main thing. Again, touching off on that. It's not about you and your event. It's about them and what they need from it. Hopefully that's all making sense. So if they just like a post on my page, you have the opportunity to invite them to like your page. And then I usually just send a message to follow up and say, hey, you'll get an invite from me telling you like my page because you interacted with my content. And I just really wanted to say good day and introduce myself. And thanks for checking out and see if there's anything you can do for them, start a conversation, build rapport, sales conversations, all of that sort of stuff. So yes, I just make an opportunity to make conversation wherever I can. And I've just made this little quick checklist as well to help you guys a little bit when you come to creating your events. So think outside the box. Don't just create events that everyone else has done in the past. If you think of something really cool that you want to do, then do it. I know I went out and I did this crazy event, which was all about blending, but it was all about different emotions. And I've even done a 7 Deadly Sins emotions event. Like, you can think outside the box. You do not have to do what everyone else is doing. The 7 Deadly Sins is an amazing workshop, by the way. Like, you've got gluttony and you've got envy and you've got all that stuff. Like, all the oils work for those. And if I don't see someone else carry on the flame for a 7 Deadly Sins workshop, I'm going to be sad because I don't get to do them anymore. So consider the problem, the solution, and the transformation. Really important to focus on that. You've heard me quite a lot about that enough. Reach out beyond your friends and family. So I recently did an Amplify Your Network challenge on social media, which was 5 days. I'm actually in the process of making that into a 5-module free online course so that it's specifically for anyone who's working in social media who wants to reach out past their friends and family. So that will be online as soon as I can get it finished. The 7 Deadly Sins is a really fun workshop to get your team involved in as well. You can play dress ups. You know, I'm a big fan of a dress up party, so yeah, they can be heaps and heaps of fun. Put your passion into it. So if there's a particular subject that you just can't get enough of, or like if you work in a particular industry, like if you work with horses and you've been doing intro classes and it's just not your jam, but you just really want to do equine classes, then go into it. It's going to filter into intro classes and more enrollments outside of the horses, but it's your segue in. It's something you're passionate about. Really good to start conversations and build your network. So ask questions constantly. Always be asking questions. Even when you're sitting in workshops, don't just talk at people the whole time. Just ask questions and pull them into the information. Ask them if they've tried something before. Roseanne, I actually thought of you when that popped up in my head. So always ask those questions. Even when I do like events, like at expos and stuff, I don't just say, oh, hey, have you tried essential oils before? I ask people, oh, what's your favorite sort of smell? What smells are you attracted to most? So it has to, people can't just go yes or no and keep walking. They actually have to stop and they think about it. They go, oh, that's a really good question. Suppose I really like fruity kind of smells, or I'm into musk, or I'm into spice. And then you can sort of go, oh, I can make up a little blend for you to smell with those particular smells. So you can just ask questions and make sure they're open questions as well. And be active during your lead up. Cool. So I'm going to go through the questions stuff in a minute. So bear with me while I'm not ignoring you. It's the chat fast functioning. It's going so be active during lead up. So like I said before, so when you've planned your event, it is a good idea to just share content throughout the lead up into that event. And I wanted to show you guys exactly how I do that. So I've done that for this workshop, right? You probably would have got all those notifications where I invited you to different lives where I was talking about something. Like I did an open coaching session, so I shared that within this event. I've shared that I have an open business group where I do coaching for free with all teams and all types of businesses and industries. So I've advertised that in the event. I've got you excited and I've said we're doing this and this is what was happening, and I've shared the links to log in. So it's just constantly thinking of the different ways that you can create touch points, even if it's just something to do with what you're doing on social media outside of that event. So if you've got an intro class going on and you've planned a live to talk about something, share that within your event. Like just put that on your schedule, your content schedule for social media. Make sure your event is always on there as well. So people keep getting notified, they keep getting excited, and they keep doing that. So my don'ts is don't rely on social media. Even social media advertising, if you don't get organic reach for your event, then you're doing something not wrong, but something not quite right. So I think it's more about presenting a need, so presenting the solution to people that have a problem, and that's where your organic reach comes from. And this workshop is a perfect example of that. I saw a need. We saw all these people talking about this in a diamond group and saying like, we're struggling with this, we don't know how to motivate our team. So we saw a problem, we needed to talk about events, and the solution is, hey, I can just get up here on my high horse and tell you how I do it, and try and give you guys some tips along the way on how you can make this as successful as possible for you. You don't have to do it like everyone else. So problem, solution, and we had, goodness me, I think there was over 800, I think it was 840 something people registered. And a lot of people are checking back in to the event for the recording, which is like, I'm so grateful that that's 800 wellness advocates' lives that I get to touch in some way with my training. So very, very exciting. Don't assume that people won't be interested. And this is an absolute killer. So just start conversations with people and don't assume that they're not going to be interested in essential oils, because essential oils and the products we have, we honestly can target any demographic and we will never be saturated because of that fact. It's not like we're one particular type of product like makeup or linen or just supplements, for example. So we're really quite lucky or blessed that we have so many different products in our range. Don't worry about your own needs. So don't go into a workshop thinking, all right, for Diamond Club, I need to get 6 enrollments from this event. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to be sending that energy off to every single person in the room. And it actually changes, even if you don't consciously realize it, but your energy shifts. So what I like to do with my team is not focus on enrollments. And I don't say how many enrollments you're going to get this month. Well, it's more so how many lives are you going to change this month? So shift your language around the perception of your needs versus the needs of the people you're working with as well, even when it comes to goal setting and all that kind of stuff. So making it, don't make it about you. And don't make the events about you either. Don't talk about your experience and what you've done. It's all about that transformation and what you're offering them. Don't mention that. And again, this is a personal opinion because I've seen how this works and we've tested this. Don't mention essential oils, doTERRA, or your rank, because most of the doTERRA lingo, rank lingo, all that kind of stuff, LRPs, promos, free oils, blah, 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 it doesn't actually really resonate with people that haven't been introduced to doTERRA yet. And you want to be reaching people that aren't doTERRA consumers already. So there's no point using doTERRA specific language for people that won't understand it. So that's definitely one big tip for me. Don't book your event without proper planning. So make sure you've given yourself enough lead time and you know exactly who you're going to invite, where you're going to share it, where you're going to put your posters, where on social media, in what groups you're going to drop it. And don't quit doing workshops because no one turns up. This question came up, I think, in my live coaching session the other day. And they asked me just like, what do you do when no one turns up to your event? And I basically get my team to just do the event anyway. So just turn your phone on. So you've got your phone and you just want to switch it on live. You've set up, you're ready to go. You're sitting there, no one turns up. You think, wait. So just switch your computer on, grab your phone, go live and present the class anyway. Because you never know who's at home, sitting in the car, or even on the toilet, who knows, who's going to be watching your workshop and think, oh shit, that information really, that's super helpful. I could really use some digestion, or I could use some easy air. So definitely just, if no one turns up, just go live and do the workshop anyway. Yeah, so that was it from my main spiel. How long have I been going for? Hey, yeah, an hour and a half. Oh, you guys are awesome for putting up with me for this long. I can't believe you have. All right, so I'm going to open up. I'm going to stop sharing now. Hey, I can see everyone's faces again now. Thank you so much for bearing with me through all of that. I am going to answer some questions now. So I'm going to scroll back through, but while I'm scrolling, please feel free to ask more questions. So, yeah, so I'm going to go back through. I know there were some cool questions from before, and now I don't know if I'll be able to find them because there's so many that have come through. So please feel free to ask questions now. But I'll answer that one quickly. So Barb, how do you ask me to like your page? Cool. So you can actually click on people that have reacted to your posts, and you can invite them. It'll actually have a little invite tab when you click on the reactions. And it's really simple. I just make sure I go through and do that every month. I don't do it all the time, but I just go back through content and invite people as well. Oh, excuse me, my legs are going to sleep. Problem with sitting on the floor. How often do you ring over text message or text message during these connection points? I love talking on the phone, and really just text is a huge thing for me. I don't find that email is that successful, but texting is definitely a great thing to use. But if you are introducing people to the oils, and if you've enrolled them online or whatever, they need to hear your voice within 48 hours of them signing up. They need to hear your voice. So whether you jump on a Zoom or you jump on a phone call with them, make sure they're hearing from you. And connection points. So my touch points, you need to make sure that anyone you enroll hears from you at least every 30 days, once a month, whether that is they see your face in a live, they get a text message from you, they get an email from you, whatever that looks like. Every 30 days minimum is definitely the best thing to plan out for with any of your enrollments. When you set your events up, how do you structure your Facebook cover to snag people's attention also? Well, so Facebook is an interesting beast, and it's always going to be changing and growing. And personally, you know, they have a rule with the 20% text, which I definitely try to stick to as much as possible. But it's usually video is going to be your most successful cover for your events. So try and use video wherever you can possible. And that is because using video to advertise an event, it actually increases your RSVPs by 144%. So try and use video to pull people in. And there's so many great apps where you can make awesome little flashy videos these days. You don't need to be a videographer and have lots of studio programs and stuff. You can do something really simply just on your phone. So the Facebook cover, it really depends on the event. So I usually, I just have a subscription with a stock image company, and so I get heaps of stock graphics, and I just try and think of what would stop me looking at that in my newsfeed, what would be different, what would grab their attention. You can use, it doesn't even have to relate as long as it makes them stop scrolling and they see it and they go, oh, so whether that's just like a flash of color or a video or something like that. So yeah. Changing lives things. Yeah, beautiful. Do you, yes, Amanda's asked if I present any content via slide deck digital presentation at an event. Not really, even though that's like my background and my history. And of course I've done that for you guys tonight because slideshows keep us on point so I don't like waffle on for 4 hours. Taking a breath. But yes, so for events, like for the bigger public events where we've got over 50 people attending, absolutely, because it helps people in the room focus as well as helps the speakers stay on point within the time frame that they have. But if it is a small group of people, I honestly just sit around. I don't really even pull out my sheets. I just talk to people, and I find that that's the most successful way to build connections. Tracy said she never mentions if you roll bigger kits, they get free, blah, blah, blah. No, people do not understand PV. They don't, and they don't want to hear about it at their first introduction to oils and a doTERRA membership. I tell them that there's an amazing program, like a frequent flyers program where they get lots of free product, but I focus on that with the follow-up with their one-on-one after they've enrolled. I don't go through that at a workshop at all. And I'm very subtle that I make sure they know that I friggin' love doing this as a job right from the get-go, so that I actually slide the business opportunity in there without having to get to the end and say, okay, there's 3 different ways you can use your membership. Because I don't want them to feel like they're being sold anything. I want them to think, frick, I want to do what she's doing. I want to go on incentive trips and I want to go travel around Australia talking about this stuff. So you make it really attractive for someone as a business opportunity because of your energy, not because you get up and tell them that they can do this as a business too and this is how they use their account. Do it. But you make it simple and no, like I didn't have any education coming into this. Like I just got so passionate about it, I needed to share it with you, and that's why I'm up in front of you today talking about blah, blah, blah. So you can make them realize that even without any history or knowledge or background, they can do this too. All right, computer programs. Computer programs, honestly, it really depends. I'm a graphic designer by trade, so of course I use Adobe for all of my graphics, like Photoshop and InDesign. And not everyone can do that, and I know how complex that program is. So things like Canva is amazing. What are some of the other apps that are really good? I'll check my phone because I've got, where is it? There's a few on here that I've used before. I bet you I've removed them because I haven't used them much. No, Canva's about the only one I've got on there. I think I've removed all the other ones because I don't use them. Oh, Boomerang's really good for like quick videos to grab people's attention. How do you access this recording? That was a good question, Diana. I will be uploading it somewhere. Most likely it'll just go onto YouTube so you guys can share it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure yet because it's a long video. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, Jules was in my training the other day as well. Yeah, perfect. How do you do sample baby wipes? What do you put them in? Oh, I just use the little biodegradable Ziploc bags. So I give them like maybe 5 or so in a little bag that's pre-made. And I just write on the front of them what's in it, how to make it, and what oils are in there as well. Or you can print it off on a little sticker as well. So yes, definitely can do that. What if your page has so much doTERRA on it, then it's obvious. If you're promoting doTERRA constantly on your newsfeed, then you're not working for yourself. You're not building your own brand. If you are mentioning doTERRA or products in every single post, then stop. You need to make this about you. Like there are so many of us, like thousands of wellness advocates in Australia promoting doTERRA right now. So don't promote doTERRA, promote you and the transformations that you're offering to people. So don't make it about the brand at all. One of the things that I coach in with my Facebook facelift is if you've got employed by doTERRA on your personal profile, get rid of it. So you're not an employee. You need to empower yourself that this is your own business as well. So how can you inspire people to do this business if they think that you're just an employee or a salesperson of that company? So it's all that mindset. But yes. Yeah, try not to make your page just doTERRA. You want to be, I'm not going to go too much into social media tonight because you're probably sick of hearing me talk right already. But yeah, you want to be really offering different pillars of education, inspiration, connection, and solutions. You don't want to be just posting doTERRA stuff or sharing stuff on other pages or doTERRA pages all the time. What products or oils do you take to an event? Do you have a diffuser going? Do you follow the protocol of passing the oils around during the event? Yes, so I always have the diffuser going regardless of what session it is because people need that when they walk in the room. So whether or not it's to help them focus or to just have something that smells nice or something that relates to the workshop itself, always have the diffuser going. Yes, so this is again another personal opinion. So when you're doing intro style classes, I know when you're excited, you've got all this beautiful stuff and you've got the beautiful boxes, you want to set it up on a coffee table or on a table or trestle table and make it look all beautiful and show them how much you've got in your range. But then you're making it look like, it's not a dirty word, but you're making it look like party plan and that they're there to shop. So we don't want people to come to these events and shop, because they get in that shopper mindset where they have to come to an event to buy more product. So you want them to be empowered with their own account and they don't have to buy all of that stuff to make that transition into healthier options and more natural products. So you don't want to bombard them with too much stuff either when it comes to events. You want to have out what you need. Like my mental health workshop, I did talk about 20 oils in that workshop and I had those there and the supplements and that was it. That was all that was on display. So, and then some water with oils in it and stuff. So yeah. Crystal's asked, pre-recorded videos effective as live? Not for reach, no. Pre-recorded videos, it depends as well. So if your audience is constantly on their phone and they have their low data on, Facebook are actually like liable to that as well, and they won't show videos in someone who's got low data on. So if they're on Wi-Fi only and stuff all the time, then Facebook will show less videos. So lives are definitely better because they get a notification, they can jump in and they can watch, or they can watch it later. So you've got the best of both worlds. So pre-recorded videos, not so much as effective with getting in news feeds, but definitely pre-recorded videos are better than no videos at all. And try when you can. I don't personally do this, but I watch videos every single day with subtitles. So I need to do this more and make it more user-friendly for our hearing impaired community. Make sure you're putting subtitles and stuff on them as well. Roseanne, sorry, I'm going through this question now. If you're doing a workshop for healthy kids on mental health, what other things do you include other than essential oils to ensure it doesn't come at a sales class in disguise? Yeah, beautiful. So with my sleep solutions workshop, for example, I actually teach because I was so passionate to learn about it. I teach them about the neuroscience of sleep cycles. So I go through the circadian rhythm and what light and dark does to the brain and how the oils affect that brain as well. But I go through like things like the circadian rhythm, food that also increases the hormones that make you sleepy and help you feel more fulfilled, so you sleep for longer. I also talked about exercise that you can do, like all sorts of stuff. And then in my mental health workshops, I went through like personal choices, how circumstance for mental health is one of the most important subjects to talk about, but we don't talk about it. So how can you just be in a circumstance that's really depressive without taking action to create a different environment for yourself and just trying to take people, anyway. So I go into like heaps of different stuff, and then into the supplements with the mental health workshop, and so there's loads of different things you can talk about with those different things as well. So it's not just about the oils. Do you use a halo light? Mel said, obviously it's a lot of work done at night and shadows make it really hard to get a clear picture. Oh yeah, so I got a ring light. If you're watching my live the other day, my cat actually got up there and she was like tapping it and walking across the top of the chair where I'm sitting, and like, it's being a pain. She's locked out tonight. So I've just got a ring light that I use. Yes. Oh, Jamie, so structuring niche classes. Yeah. So that kind of goes into it. So it really depends on the type of class I was doing. My mental health workshop, for example, was quite in depth, and it was a big workshop. And that in itself went through the different neurotransmitters and how they're affected with our moods and emotions and all that kind of stuff. So niche classes, it really depends on the type of class. When it comes to like the natural beauty class, for example, I would open with, this is why we want to make healthy choices with our makeup and our skincare. This is the products that we're going to be using and why they benefit us. And that included essential oils. So I went in there about how essential oils work on a cellular level with our skin and blah, blah, blah. And then we would go straight into just making stuff. And while we're making stuff, we're standing around a table, we're making conversations. I'm not just up the front telling people how to make stuff. I'm in there getting my hands dirty and all that stuff as well. Nicole said, she struggles with the Empower Kit as well in workshops. Yeah, absolutely. Don't stress if your workshops are more conversational than they are instructional, because people don't want to be talked at all the time. Thank you. My hubby just brought me more water. Ah, what a gem. Australia. Good Australia Day cup too. Thanks, hub. All right, checking back through all of these. I've got 36 new messages there to come through. Yeah, designer for graphics. Yeah, so Canva is perfectly fine. Just make sure you got the dimensions right, whatever's the most updated for social media. And I usually share those in my Life Code Zone group. If you aren't already in my Life Code Zone group, go ahead on Facebook groups and look me up right now, because I do lives and training and like content in there. I've got so much planned for everyone in that group this year. I'm going to get really specific with network marketing as well, just to get more tips on how to get you standing out online, how to big conversations, all those sales conversation stuff. So that is just Life Code Zone. You can look it up as facebook.com/groups/Life Code Zone. It's really easy to find me, and just request to join if you aren't in there already, and say good day when you're in there. Introduce yourself. Margaret said, thank you. Oh, it's late over there. I was looking for a fresh breath of air and bored with the top 10. Girlfriend rang to say she was in hospital with mental health, and I helped her. Yeah. Women's health is such a massive subject, and we can be the stewards of the most valuable information and really change healthcare. So, this is on us, guys. We're on the front lines here. We're changing health for people. How do you get people to stay on LRP? Oh, that's a good question, Diana. I didn't think I would answer any of this tonight, but actually this came up in the other presentation I did the other day. So LRP is a mindset thing. If you've got people on LRP and you've got them ordering oils every month, then stop. So LRP should not be about oils. They get free oils by doing their LRP. The LRP itself should not be about oils, because that is not a sustainable thing for most households to buy and have loads of oils in their home. Essential oils aren't highly consumable either. There's 250 drops in there. We preach that. We tell them how long they're going to last. So we know that, like I, for example, have my first oregano from 4 years ago from my home essentials kit, and I've used about a third of it thankfully, because it's good for immune stuff. So we haven't been that sick. But I don't ever focus, sorry, I have an itchy eye. I don't ever focus on oils for LRP either. You need to be thinking of switch out stuff, those anchoring products, the skincare, the cleaning products, the hair care, like all of that kind of stuff that people are okay ordering every single month because it replaces their purchases from somewhere else. If people aren't going to the supermarket every week buying essential oils, how would they feel doing that on their LRP? And it feels like it doesn't feel good for most people, and you get those people that quit. And if people quit on LRP, it's because you haven't taught them how to use the products enough. You haven't shown them the anchoring products like the shampoos and conditioners and cleaning products and laundry detergent. And you haven't shown them how to use their oils enough, the ones that they do have. So that's really important. If you've got people quitting on LRP, it's just because you haven't shown them how to use their membership properly. Because they're going to want to shop for themselves and get all of that free stuff and replace stuff. So yes, definitely more conversations, more anchoring products, less oils. Have I ever done markets? Emma said. Yes, that's exactly how I started my doTERRA business. So I went to a market with my home essentials kit and about 3 flyers that I got in my little welcome pack from my sister. And I took my iMac computer so I could at least have some flashy graphics, and my diffuser was going. And that's how I started. And I booked 8 workshops from that one event. And that was just because I was asking questions. I stood on the other side of the table. I have training specifically on how to do events and markets and expos as well, but I won't go through too much of that now. But yeah, so what apps do I use for my videos? I just use iMovie on my computer. That's all I use. And of course, Zoom for meetings and webinars. As a person building this business without Zoom, I would be useless. I love using Zoom every single day to connect with my team and educate people. And I've done plenty of classes on oils like this in people's homes all around the world. I haven't just done workshops in person either. Yes, I could probably share some of the handouts from my classes. I'd have to find them on a hard drive because I don't do workshops anymore. I just help my team do workshops. I don't personally host any. But yes, I can definitely find some of those handouts if you guys are interested in those. Ems asked, Instagram or Facebook, what do you prefer? Mixed bag. Again, like I honestly love Instagram for content and like meeting people and creating conversations, but I also use Facebook for groups. I don't use my Facebook page anymore. I built it with my doTERRA business up to about 10,000 followers, and I just don't bother with it anymore, really. I just don't get anything out of it. It's not worth the time. The return on investment's so low. So yeah, don't worry about it too much. Do I have a video of one of my classes? Yes, probably somewhere. I would have to try and find one for you. Yeah. So does public liability insurance. You would need to check your insurance to make sure that you're covered for gifting products that are pre-made. So it's definitely, you can get out of that by actually making them in the workshop yourself. So if you're getting people to make their own products, then you don't have to stress about it. But yeah, don't worry. But yes, check your insurance and make sure. I made sure that I did have the right insurance for it, and I added the extra bits and pieces that I needed to make sure everything was covered. What did you display at the markets? Pretty much everything at markets. And my iToby was a massive reason why I made so many connections. One of the festivals that I did, I got over 160 leads from 2 days by using my iToby. So that was a really good tool as well. Yes, please, for handouts, consider info Zoom with marketing. Yes, yeah, I could definitely do a live teaching you guys how to do markets and expos. Yeah, definitely. Handouts would be great. Handouts, blah, blah, blah. What insurance company? I started just with Fenton Green. They have a doTERRA specific insurance. So you can definitely start there. Once you're making your own products, we used someone else, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I tend to tell all of my team to go straight into Fenton Green and get that straight up whenever they're talking about the oils to someone. What did I say about the iToby? Okay, so I don't have my iToby anymore because I just don't like the new layout of it. So this information kind of seems redundant because I'm not like woo about it now. But before, I was really, really stoked. And it's probably just because it's changed and I hate change. I'm like a creature of habit in some ways. And so yes, to not be consulted on the changes that happened, I was a bit like, yeah. But yes, so the iToby is a fantastic tool. So I used it as offering bioscans for people, and so they would just come along and I'd offer them a bioscan and they'd say, well, what's a bioscan? So like it's a little device that scans every cell of your body and sees what's out of balance right now, and that was fantastic to get that conversation going. They'd stand there, they'd have to put their details in, and I would say, fantastic. I'd go through the results with them straight up just quickly, and then I would say to them, what I'm going to do is send you a much more detailed report to this email address. I'm going to have a chat and I'll give you a call when you've had a chance to look through it all as well. Michelina Knight is my sister. Yes, my twinsy. Yeah. Oh, we do look a lot. I got that message privately. Yes, she is my sister. I'm 3 years younger. Hopefully you can tell that as well. Yeah, beautiful. Yes, I know. At convention, yes, people do confuse us, except for I'm the extreme one. I'm not as like natural as she is. So yeah, we definitely do have our differences. But we also have training events together coming up all across Australia. So at the moment we've got Perth, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast and Tasmania, and more to come later in the year. So we have training events, like, yeah, we've got some awesome stuff coming up. So that was really cool. Awesome. So how's everyone going? I hope we've lost a few people because it's getting late and stuff, but thank you guys for dropping in. Did you have any other questions? Naomi, we're coming over in March, I'm pretty sure. So next month. Yeah, I'll be posting all of that information as soon as we have it. So yeah, definitely. Yep. There you go. There's Fenton Green. That's definitely the best place to start. Cool. All right. So I guess, yeah, if you guys are interested in more training and coaching and help, I definitely have in the past done specific doTERRA masterminds where we go through the different layers of the business and work on sales techniques and social media and all of that kind of stuff. I would be open to doing another doTERRA mastermind if anyone is interested in jumping in and doing something like that. And that just means like 4 weeks of like meanness everywhere. It'll be all over your Facebook and all over your Voxer. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, just let me know, send me a message, and just let me know if you'd be interested in a doTERRA, mastermind. Yeah, beautiful. I'm seeing some keens. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I will make sure I'm going to go to bed straight after this. Like, I've been talking for 2 hours. So I'm going to go to bed, put my earphones in and watch some Netflix or YouTube until I fall asleep, because that's what I do. But yes, tomorrow I will post some information for you guys. So I would love to work with you all to get you to your next rank. So 4 weeks is awesome. There's actually been some ladies on tonight that have done my masterminds in the past who've given me fantastic reviews and testimonials for those. So I would definitely say it, because you guys have got some awesome questions and I would love to be able to help you with all that extra stuff as well. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, well, make sure you jump over to Life Code Zone, because I will pop the information into that group first about the doTERRA Mastermind. We will get that sorted for you guys so that you can just, really amplify. That's my word for this year. Amplify your business in 2019 to something that is you. Build your brand, make you stand out. You're not just a doTERRA wellness advocate. This is so much more than that. You need to craft your story, get your message out there, and get you in front of the people that really, really need your story. So I would love to work with all of you, to be honest, because I'm fascinated by every single one of your stories and how you do what you do. You're all amazing. Perfect. Yeah, cool. Nicole's just said she'll jump over the group. Yeah, Life Code Zone. I will be hanging out on Facebook. Like, I admit I'm terrible with my phone in bed, so I'll be there. I'll be letting people in. So yeah, Beautiful. Oh, Vicky, yes. Yeah, I'll upload the recording as soon as I can, again tomorrow. Another hot tip as well, if you are uploading videos to either Facebook or YouTube, always switch to your phone data and hotspot, because it is about 100 times faster. It's so much faster. So it's definitely the best thing to do once you're uploading videos, and try to go live on Facebook through your phone data as well, hotspot, instead of using your broadband or your NBN, so you get a better connection. Alrighty, guys, cool. Well, if there's no more questions, I will leave you all. I had an amazing time talking to you guys tonight. Yes, please, add Life Code Zone into your groups. Make sure you follow my personal page on Facebook as well. I can be followed on there because, like I said, I don't post much on my business page anymore. So yeah, if you want to see crazy cat lady stuff, get onto my personal page as well. All right, beautiful. I've still got 50 million messages on my phone as well from people sending me questions, but I might just have to post those in the comments of the video because I just don't have time to go through everything. Off to watch Harry Potter 4. I was watching The Goblet of Fire today while I was folding my laundry. All right, guys. Oh, Alice, you're here. Oh, bless. Oh my gosh, I love Alice. She's beautiful. I can't see her in my videos, but I'm glad that she's been here. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Another thing as well, if you don't join me for the mastermind, and if you want to see me at convention, just come and holler at me and just say good day, because I love meeting people. So definitely come and come give me a cuddle, say good day, give me a high five. Love to see you all at convention. And if you haven't booked yet, make sure you go. It's going to be amazing. Oh, Terry, don't tell me you did the tour. We're going to the US for 32 days at the end of the year, and I'm definitely going to Universal Studios. I'm going to cry like a big kid when I walk in there. All right, awesome. All right, guys, I could sit here and just talk to you all night. I'm not even talking to you, I'm just reading you. But yeah, I've got all these notifications coming through my watch from Life Code Zone. So yeah, perfect. All right. Beautiful, guys. Yes. Oh yeah, our big road trip. We're starting in LA and finishing in New York, and we're going along, the bottom, deep south. So it's gonna be an awesome road trip. Yeah. I will be putting a lot of stuff on Facebook for that. So anyway, someone just it's like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. Can someone just tell me in the comments just to shut up and go to bed? All right. Love you guys. Yeah, my hubby said, don't start talking about Harry Potter, just come to bed. All right, bless you guys. I will talk to you all very soon. I'll see you over in Life Code Zone. See you guys.